In this video, I'm going to demonstrate some of the basic functions of SpeechPulse. New paragraph. Right now, I'm dictating to Windows Notepad using auto punctuation mode. I'm also running SpeechPulse on an NVIDIA GPU. New paragraph. As you can see, right now I'm using the real-time processing mode. In this mode, SpeechPulse inserts the text as you dictate. New paragraph. SpeechPulse also has few other dictation modes where you can control how it works. New paragraph. Now I'm going to switch off the real-time processing mode and switch to the automatic speech input mode. New paragraph. Now SpeechPulse is using automatic speech input mode with auto spacing. That means SpeechPulse only inserts the text after you complete the dictation. With auto spacing mode, SpeechPulse scans the previous character in the text edit to determine if it should enter a space character before the next speech segment. Now I am going to switch SpeechPulse to the manual spacing mode. With manual spacing, SpeechPulse doesn't scan the previous character and immediately inserts the text. It is faster, but you have to enter the space character manually. New paragraph. You can also minimize the SpeechPulse window or reduce it to the taskbar. New paragraph. SpeechPulse also supports push-to-talk input. Now I am going to switch SpeechPulse to the push-to-talk mode. New paragraph. There are two push-to-talk modes, and right now I am going to use the push-to-talk press and hold mode. Right now I am using the push-to-talk press and hold mode. With this mode, you have to press and hold the push-to-talk hotkey to start the transcription and then release the hotkey to trigger the processing. There are various push-to-talk hotkeys. You can find all of them and configure them in the options window. This is the primary push-to-talk hotkey, and there are also various other push-to-talk hotkeys. SpeechPulse also supports manual punctuation. At the moment, only for the English and German languages. New paragraph. Now I am going to switch SpeechPulse to the manual punctuation mode. New paragraph. Now I'm using the manual punctuation mode, period. With manual punctuation mode, you need to manually dictate the punctuation marks, period, new paragraph. Now I'm going to switch back to the auto punctuation mode, period, new paragraph. SpeechPulse also has a history window where you can find your previous dictations. You can also retranscribe any of your previous dictations using different speech models, language models, and other settings using the history window. SpeechPulse also has a history window. SpeechPulse also has a setting where you can add your custom mappings to correct any inaccuracies in your dictation. I have already added one mapping for the word SpeechPulse. Here, SpeechPulse will replace these combinations with the correct version. You can add more mappings here using this button. SpeechPulse also supports post-processing your dictations using large language models. New paragraph. Now I'm going to use the standard English language model which you can download and demonstrate how it works. New paragraph. You can download language models using the language model downloader. Currently, it only has English standard model which I have already downloaded. I'm also going to switch the language model to the GPU. Similarly, you can also add additional speech models using the speech model downloader. There are various models here, and larger models have better accuracy, but smaller models run faster. Now I'm running both these models on the GPU, NVIDIA GPU. You can also run both of them on the CPU, but the CPU processing will be slower than the GPU. Now you need to select an AI template to process your dictation. English Standard Model has few default templates you can use. Now I'm going to use the email example template and see how it will work. You can edit these templates using this edit button. Default templates don't support editing, but you can add your custom templates and edit them here. In this default template, we are instructing the AI language model to format the input in a format suitable for email communication. When this email template is active, you can dictate something like this and it the output will be formatted like this. I can't come to your party today, Michael. I have a meeting to attend. As you can see, the AI language model correctly formats your dictation according to your email template. You can also add various speech and LLM APIs to SpeechPulse. You can add speech APIs using the Add More APIs button from the speech model drop-down. Here you can enter the API name and the base URL and then the model name and your API key. Similarly, you can add LLM or large language model APIs using the Add More APIs option. Here you can enter the API name, then base URL, then API key. For example, now I'm going to use the OpenAI API and select one of the models. Here you have various models from the OpenAI which you can use. You can also search them from here. As you can see, you can select one of them and then connect. Okay, now we are using this GPT 4.1 Nano API as our language model. Then you can add a template based on one of the available templates. You can edit them and say what you want from this API. You can also add examples, example input output combinations, so the AI model can understand what your actual requirement. Now I am using this chat API, so you can ask anything and the AI will give you the output. What is the distance between Earth and Sun? This is from the OpenAI Nano model from the API. You can also train new words to SpeechPulse using the training option. First, you need to enable training and enable GPU acceleration if you have a GPU. Then you need to restart SpeechPulse. I have already done those, so I'm going to continue. This training window has option to add training profiles. When you add training profiles, you can name them and then select one of the supported languages. Currently, it supports these languages. You can then you have to select that training profile. Then you can add new word using this window. You can also add a different pronunciation if you have one here. Benica HCT. Benica HCT, Benica HCT, Benica HCT, Benica HCT, Benica HCT, Benica HCT, Benica HCT. Now I'm going to dictate a sentence with the trained word and see how it works. Benica HCT is a fixed dose combination medication used to treat high blood pressure. As you can see, SpeechPulse now correctly recognize this word. Now I am going to switch SpeechPulse to the file mode. File mode supports batch file transcription and subtitle generation. I am also going to disable AI processing. You can also process your file transcription outputs using AI models, for example, to generate summaries of your audio files. But for this demonstration, I am going to disable AI processing. Now I am using the multi-large model on the GPU for English transcription. Now I am going to transcribe this file using the multi-large model on the GPU. You also need to select the output folder using this button. This is the transcription output window. This window supports various shortcuts to playback the audio. For example, you can simply click on a word to start playback from that word. You can also use the tab key for play pause.
Hello, this is Graham Freer. I'm in an office in Wingate Road. Composites with me is...
Very much so. We actually started
And yet you hardly made a dent on this premises, so...
About 35 people in this. We actually have a background with just need to take into consideration...
You never know, do you, whether it's going to be too hot.
The range of possibilities for us is very hard to find.
Local economy that you
think will help us grow a little bit quicker and faster.
Sounds like a good future to me.
You can also save your transcriptions for future editing using this Save Transcription button.
Hello, this is Graham. You hardly made a dent.
Transcription window also has find and replace functionality. You can also retranscribe any of the incorrectly transcribed sections. Simply select the segment and then right click retranscribe selection.
Very much so. We actually started...
And yet you hardly made a dent on this premises.
This window supports all types of editing, so you can correct your dictation, correct your transcription directly in this
so
editor.
It's been a bit of a rapid
And
expansion.
yet you hardly made a...
We've got a two-story office block, and there's currently 3 of us in here. So our plans up to about 35 people in this, according to plan, would need to upscale again in 3 to 4 years' time.
Wow, that's some dramatic.
Goes according to plan, would need to upscale again.
You can also export your final transcription using various output formats. This is a subtitle format, and this is also another subtitle format. Paragraphs, sentences, and then this is also paragraphs, a full edited text. You can also generate per word synchronized subtitles by setting word count per line or character count per line. As you can see now, the subtitles have one word per line, so each word is synchronized when you play back on an editor. SpeechPulse also supports automatic speaker diarization. There are two methods. The recommended one is the primary method. Now I am going to perform speaker diarization on the same audio file. This is the diarization output window. As you can see, SpeechPulse has separated speakers. There are two speakers automatically detected. You can rename these speakers using Edit Speaker Names button. When you replace speakers here, SpeechPulse saves the speaker identification data. So the next time these names will be automatically filled.
I'm taken over by
Very much so. We actually started in a 1,500 square foot barn in Sway, Hampshire. We've managed.
You hardly made a dent on this premises, so
I can give you a very brief blades to a company called Atlantic.
This window also supports retranscription.
Yeah, so we're still with us in here. And then if the project 3.
You can also edit text here. And if a single segment has two speakers incorrectly detected, you can split the segments by pressing the enter key. Then you can name it from here. Similarly, if a single speaker is separated to two segments, you can press the backspace button at the beginning of a segment to merge it with the previous segment.
Workshop in 6 months. We've grown from.
You can also save diarizations using this button and load them from here.
hello, this is Graham Freer.
Very much so. We actually started.
You hardly made.
And then if.
You can find the list of speaker names that SpeechPulse can automatically detect from option window. These are the saved speakers. When SpeechPulse detects these speakers, you don't have to rename them manually. SpeechPulse will automatically add the names. Now I'm going to demonstrate the system audio mode. You can use system audio mode to transcribe any audio you play back on your computer. For example, you can transcribe any online videos you are watching or tutorials in real time using the system audio mode. System audio mode also supports transcribing both system audio and microphone at the same time. For example, you can use this feature to transcribe the online interviews. Now I am going to demonstrate the system audio mode, recording only the system audio. You can configure the system audio mode using the options window. You can select the source device from here. These are your output speakers, and you can select one of them and set it as the source for the system audio. This is only for the Windows version. macOS version doesn't need this option.
Hello, this is Graham Freer. I'm in an office in Wingate Road, Gosport, which used to be the headquarters for North Sales, I believe, and now is taken over by AC Marine and Composites. With me is Alex Newton, who's the boss here. Alex, this is an enormous factory, but you've got enormous plans, haven't you?
Very much so. We actually started in a 1,500 square foot barn in Sway, Hampshire. We've managed to upscale to a 22,000 square foot workshop in 6 months. We've grown from 2 full-time employees to I think we're on 9 now in the space of 6 months. So it's been a bit of a rapid expansion.
And yet you hardly made a dent on this premises. So you've got big plans, haven't you?
Yeah. So we're still rattling around in the workshop. We've got a 2-story office block, and there's currently 3 of us in here. So our plans at the moment are to expand up to about 35 people in this workshop, and then if the project that we're working on goes according to plan, we'd need to upscale again in 3 to 4 years' time.
Wow, that's some dramatic plan, that. So what is this project? Can you talk about it?
I can give you a very...
System audio mode saves the audio and text transcription in your output folder. Here we have the system transcription and the recorded audio.
Hello, this is Gospel
Hampshire workshop. We've got
Now I'm going to enable both system and microphone and transcribe them together.
Hello, this is Graham Freer. I'm in an office in Wingate Road, Gosport, which used to be the headquarters for North Sales, I believe, and now is taken over by AC Marine and Composites. With me is Alex Newton, who's the boss here. Alex, this is an enormous factory, but you've got enormous plans, haven't you?
Very much so. We actually started in a 1,500 square foot barn in Sway, Hampshire. We've managed to upscale to a 22,000 square foot workshop in 6 months. We've grown from 2 full-time employees to I think we're on 9 now in the space of 6 months. So it's been a bit of a rapid expansion.
And yet you hardly made a dent on this premises. So you've got big plans, haven't you?
Yeah. So we're still rattling around in the workshop.
Now we have both microphone and system transcriptions and their recordings.
Headquarters for North Sales, I believe. And Sales, I believe.
You also have the combined transcription. There are various text formats you can select. Now I'm using the paragraphs with timestamps. You can select sentences with timestamps, and paragraphs. Also full text transcription. System audio mode also supports speaker diarization. You can enable speaker diarization from here. You can select active speakers. Otherwise, you can add new speakers and rename them directly in the system audio mode.
Hello, this is Graham Freer. I'm in an office in Wingate Road, Gosport, which used to be the headquarters for North Sales, I believe, and now is taken over by AC Marine and Composites. With me is Alex Newton, who's the boss here. Alex, this is an enormous factory, but you've got enormous plans, haven't you?
Very much so. We actually started in a 1,500 square foot barn in Sway, Hampshire. We've managed to upscale to a 22,000 square foot workshop in 6 months. We've grown from 2 full-time employees to I think we're on 9 now in the space of 6 months. So it's been a bit of a rapid expansion.
And yet you hardly made a dent on this premises. So you've got big plans, haven't you?
Yeah. So we're still rattling around in the workshop. We've got a 2-story office block, and there's currently 3 of us in here. So our plans at the moment are to expand up to about 35 people in this workshop. And then if the project that we're working on goes according to plan, we'd need to upscale again in 3 to 4 years' time.
Wow, that's some dramatic plan, that. So what is this project? Can you talk about it?
I can give you a very brief overview of what we're doing.
Yep.
Thank you for watching this demonstration.